What it do, y'all? It's your boy. Back at it with the mathematics. Yeah, dig. And we gonna get into the top 5 best squabblers, best fighters from my hood, the Central District of Seattle. And show you my generation. Yeah, our generation. Sure enough. Alright, so we're gonna get straight into it. So I'm gonna go with number 1. And I ain't doing this in no particular order either. I'm really not. I'm just gonna do it off the top of my dome show. Alright, so number 1, I'm gonna start with Draco. Duche, South Jackson, Draco. Not Draco the ruler. Not Drake. Not Drake. Drakey. You dig? Draco, Duche, South Jackson, rushed in heaven. Who still don't feel like he's gone, bro. He just passed away a couple years ago. Still don't feel like he's gone, man. I recorded a freestyle, matter of fact, like a week before he passed away on Tilt's porch. Rest in heaven, Tilt. Yeah, I recorded a freestyle I had too. I posted it, but I don't know what it's at. But nonetheless, though, Draco, and as far as I'm concerned too, Draco had that name before Draco the Ruler, Rest in heaven, Draco the Ruler, and Drake. As far as I'm concerned, Draco had that name way before I ever heard anybody talking about the gun Draco or any rapper. So yeah, Draco was definitely a unique fighter. Like real talk, man. Like I seen Draco fight a couple times, multiple different people, maybe a few times. But that boy was he was a beast with it, bro. And I remember like when I was younger, first time I ever started seeing Draco, I was probably like 7, 8 years old, and I think Draco was like a year older than me or so, maybe a couple years. But I remember, you know, behind my mom's house in the back alley, that's when the kids used to mob through the alley and stuff. People used to mob through the alleys, and Draco would just randomly come through the alley. And every time I would see him, like kids would either be running from him or he would be like looking for another kid, or just roughing somebody up. You know what I mean? And I used to try to really avoid him. Like I'd be in the back alley, like at my mom's crib, and when he would come, I would think like, oh, that damn kid, he gonna be on that bullshit. Because you know, some kids when we were younger just were like naturally already built, like just had muscles as kids. Draco was one of them. You know what I mean? He was just naturally built. And if you know Draco and you know that natural look he had, like just he had a natural like scary look to him. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I used to try to avoid him. When I would see him coming through the alley at the end of the alley, I would try to just like go back in the yard. But then I would press myself, you know, I would just be like, nah, like I ain't avoiding nobody. I used to have this thing, like when I would be mobbing through the neighborhood and I would see a bunch of the kids or a bunch of older kids on the corners going to the store, turn a corner and you see a group of kids. I used to be like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and burst straight through that crowd. Like, you know what I mean? Even before I didn't know anybody as a kid, and I would do that. So I started to press myself to do that, and then I eventually, he eventually like was like roughing up some kid in the back of my mom's house in the alley, and I was just continuing like playing basketball, just bouncing the ball with myself. And you know, he said he was cool. He was cool. Like the first time I met him, he roughed up the kid. He was like looked at me. He was like, "What's up?" And he just like, "What's up?" Like, "What's up, man?" And then he had asked me like, "You stay over here?" So I was like, "Yeah, my mom's there." He was like, "For sure." He was hella cool. Like I was surprised. Like he was hella cool. And if you got to know Draco, like he really had a good heart, and it was just, you know, he just wasn't with no foolery. But Draco, I'm gonna start with Draco. I remember seeing Draco fight First time I ever seen Draco fight was when Deuce and Valley Hood, some cats from Valley Hood got into it with Draco. And so, since it was all the Central District family, they agreed to meet up. Valley Hood and Deuce agreed to meet up for Draco to fight this individual. And I forget what Blood's name was from Valley Hood, but he was a big cat. He was a real one. He was a big dude. And I remember we all marched up there. Omish went up there with Draco and Dave Blaze, and I think for a second Valley Hill wasn't there for a second, and I think Cass was like, oh, he ain't gonna show up. And like a couple seconds later, Valley Hood all popped up and was like, no, nigga, them niggas is popping up. They popped up, got out the car, and they went straight at it. They were just boom, they got out the car, took off their shirt, squared up, and this dude was like, Draco was probably like 6 foot, and dude was probably like 6'5", like easily, like probably like 250, like he was like 6'4", 6'5", like easily like 230, 250 or something. He's a big dude. And boom, they started squabbling, and they were both just throwing them, chunking them, and then Draco was hitting them with them pounds. Dude was hitting Draco too, but then dude made the mistake of ducking down when he was swinging them, swinging hooks. And Draco took the opportunity to grab Blood, put him in that chokehold, put him in a stiff chokehold, had him tight, and was choking the shit out of Blood. And then he somewhat like DDT'd him. They both kind of dropped to the ground. Draco still had him in the hold, and then old boy ended up getting out of it. And as he got out of it, as Draco was getting out of it, he gave him a few more, and dude got up, and they both kind of were still ready to chunk him. They might have threw a few more blows or so, but they ended up boom. It was actually the way it ended was people started getting in between it and both sides, and they were like Deuce and Valley Hood, they started both sides, because the old Blood came with a few of the Valley Hoods, and Deuce did the same. And there was some district niggas up there like myself who weren't from Deuce or Valley Hood. And so Deuce and Valley Hood started getting into it with their homies, and then boom, like they started yelling back and forth, and somebody started yelling about a burner, and the next thing you know, you started hearing shots and shit ringing off, like 50 shots, and luckily nobody got hit. There was a lot of bullets flying that day. Luckily nobody got hit or anything, and you would think like boom, they weren't going to be able to come back from that one, but no, that's when it was really like a Central District family. And I think both sides knew that they was wrong. I don't think nobody was really even trying to hit anybody, to tell you the truth, but they ended up being able to, as time passed on, it didn't turn into no big beef like Deuce versus Valley Hood. It wasn't none of that. They just, chalked it up, and just time went on, you know what I mean, and it didn't turn into nothing else after that. It was still just the Central District family. That was the first time I had ever seen Draco fight, and the second time was downtown after after a club let out. It was another big dude. Draco wasn't the type to like pick his fights. He definitely wasn't the type to pick his fights, bro. And all I remember was Shorty like, "Get him, Draco, get him." Females ain't shit, bro. She was instigating like a motherfucker. "Get him, Draco, get her!" And they just started throwing him. And dude had some hands, but Draco just had them. He had heavy hands. Draco had heavy hands, man. And he was just he was throwing them damn hooks. For a second, dude was getting with Draco. Like it was like they was both just, throwing them. Dude was a big dude, but then You know, when Shorty started, get him, Draco, and rooting for Draco, he started throwing them heavy hooks, and boom, dude started wobbling, and you know, he just kept on chucking them at dude, and boom, they separated after Draco. You know, he topped it off with just, you know, giving them last solid 5 or 10 blows, and dude, I think had had enough, and they called it one, and the female was, get him, Draco, yeah, da, da, da. And but it was cool. It wasn't no shooting, nothing like that after that, you know. So that was the second time I seen Draco, and then I seen Draco in like little scuffles here and there. But yeah, I gotta say, man, I started off with Draco, man. He was one hell of a fighter, man. He would definitely give you a fair one, like, you know. And people were scared of Draco, bro. You know what I mean? Draco being a Jimerson, I grew up like with the Jimerson since a youngster. AJ Jimerson, all the Jimersons, like it was one of the biggest families in the Central District, the Jimersons, and they always treated me, you know, real righteously. You know, they always showed me love. A lot of people would be scared of the Jimersons, and you know, they had a lot of female family, a lot of the girls, and a lot of guys, hella Jimersons. And I got along with all the Jimersons to this day. Always got along with all the Jimersons. They're always good people. The females too, you know, because if you got into it with a female Jimerson, the first thing you're gonna hear is somebody in the crowd or who's watching gonna say, "Oh, she's a Jimerson," basically letting you know that, you know, one of her family members gonna get at you. Or yeah, or you would think that a female Jimerson would be like, you know, the type to start some shit, or, you know, because they were hood. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But no, I always got along with all the female Jimersons and all the Jimersons. Much love to the Jimersons, man. You know what I mean? Rest in heaven, Draco. I just started off with Draco. If you knew Draco, then you knew he was nothing to play with them hands, man. Real walkie-talkie. Number 2, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with DUI, Dewey. Low profile, LP, big blood Dewey. Yeah, hefty Dewey. Dewey was always a big boy, man. He was always a big fella, like Draco. And I said, you know, as youngsters, some kids just had that natural build to them. You know what I mean? And Dewey, Dewey was one of the first kids I met in the neighborhood. Definitely the first families. They lived across the street from us, from my mom's house. And you know, Dewey and all his brothers, I remember when we first met their family, like we were, you know, me and my brothers were fighters, they were fighters. My older brother was a knockout artist. Yeah, definitely big bro was a knockout artist. Limo. I really don't think anybody was even seeing my brother, and I think a lot of people would vouch for that. You know, he did learn his martial arts and some more, but yeah, nobody ever defeated my big bro. Sure enough. But I ain't gonna include my family in this top 5. I'm gonna go with my generations. My brothers are older, but nonetheless though, yeah, Dewey. Yeah, so man, I met Dewey when we was younger, and we all got along. And then one day, our brothers and their brothers, we all got into it, just like kids would do. You know what I mean? And we kind of had a family feud for a couple years, and we would all fight and squabble with each other and shit. Like, we were all fighting each other, you know, giving each other hell. But as we got older, of course, they were all my brothers, like family to this day. And Dewey, man, yeah, Dewey had hands. He was known to knock niggas out as well. Dewey was known to knock niggas out, man. And niggas would be scared of Dewey, and that's why Yeah, that's why a lot of motherfuckers later on like would hate on DUI. You know what I mean? Because they didn't want to see him from the hands. Dewey was definitely a squabbler that I didn't see really too many people, if any people, really dealing with those hands with Dewey. He could use his feet too, man. That boy would foot sweep you in and knock your ass out. So number 2, I'm gonna say low profile DUI Dewey for sure. Number 3, I'm gonna say number 3 we're gonna go with Jimmy Jam. Jimmy Jam, East Union. Good old Jamville. I seen Jam squabble. That boy was rapping with his hands. That boy would be rapping with his hands before you could even think to throw your next punch. His fist was already connecting with your jaw. Jam had the broadest shoulders, the biggest shoulders I've ever seen, like a nigga have. That nigga's shoulders were ridiculous. Like this nigga's shoulders ever since a youngster, ever since a kid. And I remember meeting Jam in like 6th grade or so, and everybody would just be scared of him. Like, you know what I mean? I remember meeting him on the basketball court, and everybody was playing like one-on-one. The teachers were having everybody play one-on-one, and that nigga would lose, but he would go back in the line, skip the line, and tell somebody to give him the ball, and he would just keep playing. He was funny, man. But yeah, and I remember he had like got into a little bit of a he was just kind of he was just real serious about that game. And I remember, yeah, we end up playing, and that was when that was the first time I met Jam, and he was hella cool. I thought he'd be a little wild or something, or I may not get along with him or something when I first met him, because he was like, he didn't seem like he was always in the best like moods. Like he was just real serious. But nah, I met Jam first time I ever talked to him. He was hella cool, man. And ever since, you know, Jam's always been a cool fella, a real one. But Jam definitely got hands like none other. Another individual a lot of cats would be scared of. Yeah, I remember seeing Jam get in a fight on a late night. And man, he gave this boy the business. I just remember them damn hooks, they were so damn rapid. He was like putting it on through something serious, man. And you could tell the dude wanted to drop, but his hooks were so rapid they were keeping him up. That makes sense. Until he just pulled back and then dude dropped. The dude kept on trying to drop, but the nigga Jam's hands just, them hooks, every time he wanted to drop, the damn hook would come and it'd keep his ass up. And finally, because he was a big dude, he was a big hefty dude, but finally he dropped though. But yeah, Jam definitely, man. Yeah, it wasn't nothing to play with. So I'll say Jam. That's 3. Shouts out to Jam. I mean, free Jam. He's locked up. 4, I'm gonna say Hubert. Yeah, Hubert. Shadow Mafia Power Rule Hubert. Izzy, Hubert, man. That boy had hands. I never seen Hubert fight, but he was just one of them cats I would hear. He would be whooping niggas up, and I knew because he had so much damn energy, and he would be so serious about shit. And I remember I heard him getting into a fight with Super Folks from Douche. And they told me they had squabbled up on Douce, East Yesler. And I was like, damn, I was like, I missed that. I just got up there, they had just finished, and they were telling me, they were like, man, them, because the Super Folks, if you know Super Folks, he was a strong ass nigga, you know what I mean? And I guess they had went head up for like 2-3 blocks. Like they had started on like 18th and Yeshler, took their shirts off and squabbled the whole block, walking up the whole block, pause for a few seconds, keep on squabbling, walk on opposite sides of the street for a moment or two, then get back in the street, squabble again, separate, talk shit to each other, and keep squabbling. And they did that for like 2 blocks or something like that. And I think, if I remember correctly, I'd asked who won. They were just, all I heard was it was a good ass fight. That was all I heard. But Hubert, Shadow Mafia, Pyru, shout out to Hubert. And shout out to Rob Izzy as well. Rob Isabel. Rob Izzy definitely had hands. Me and Rob Izzy got in a few brawls together. Yeah, he would knock shit out. I remember we got into it with the Santana Block Compton Crips downtown. You know, none against the Santanas, but can't lie, we put it on your homeboys though. Ooh, we did them shove, but they called us out. But yeah, that's another story. I spoke all, but I got to speak again on that. You know, maybe sometime later or so. But yeah, shouts out to Rob Izzy as well. Last but not least, a 5, I'm going to say Omish. Low profile Omish. Another big fella. And yeah, that boy would pick you up and drop you on your head. Free Omish. He locked up doing 53. Low profile Omish. Wasn't scared of nothing or no one. You could pick the most scariest dude in the neighborhood with the most hands, and I guarantee you Omish is gonna go. He's gonna go at it with him. He ain't going back down from him. That's a fact. Omish would get down. Like, he was one of them cats that just you're not gonna see him back down from anything. You're not gonna see him scared of anyone. Even if he was, he's the type of, he's not gonna show it. And I don't think he genuinely was scared of anybody or anyone. I genuinely, I'd never seen fear in Omi's eyes or him ever act like he was scared if you brought up a name or anything like that. I'd never seen that, ever. You know what I mean? So Omi's definitely is in the top 5 of Central District roughest, toughest fighters with the hands, man. Out of those 5 individuals, y'all let me know if you know any of the individuals I just mentioned. Y'all let me know who you think would win. If all them cats I just named had to go head up, all right, who would come out victorious out of all those 5 right there? If you know them, you let me know who you think would come out. That would be some cold fights. Those were that'd be, but then they all, you know, even if a few of them had their differences, they all respected each other. They never, most of them they all ran together at one point in time, and that was a hell of a crew of beings. The Central District in whole was known to have hands, known to be serious fighters. All of us in the Central District, we were fighters, and everybody knew it. Every other hood, and you can't say that's a lie. Everybody knew the Central District was full of fighters. Would give you a fair one. Wasn't just about gunplay. And when you would see a group of those like individuals linked up, which, like I said before, time evolved and things changed. When everybody would link up and click up, the hood would just be a whole. You would have Valley Hood, Dushake, East Union, LP, SMP, VOS. All these individuals be one when they get together. And that was a hell of a group of people to go up against. You weren't going to come out victorious against those type of individuals. And matter of fact, y'all let me know too. 'Cause I used to always want to know, anyone from Seattle, let me know, man, who really had hands when it comes to the South End or West Seattle. I would like to know the top 5 out of West Seattle or the South End. Especially the South End, man. You know what I mean? We used to squabble with a lot of cats from the South End. I could give a few good names, but I'd rather have anybody from the South End let me know who's like the top 2 fighters from, the mid 2000s or so, our generation type. And even now, let me know, man. I'd like to know what y'all views on y'all own. You know what I mean? For sure, man. That's the top 5. I had to on top 5 Central District hitters. It's your boy. Like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Who y'all think's the hardest hitter out of those top 5. And anyone from the South End to West Seattle, let me know who's your top 1 or top 2 fighters yourself. It's your boy. Y'all know what it is. Bet that. No setbacks. One love. No me much shoulder shrugs. For sure.